Hello everyone. In today's video, we will be going over some basics of Python and writing basic code. So let's dive into it. So here's the title. Computers in Everyday Life. Computers are part of our everyday life. Computers are found in cell phone devices for communication tasks such as calling, texting, etc. Computers are found in household devices such as smart TVs, gaming consoles, washing machines, etc. Computers are found in retail devices such as ATM and barcode scanners. Computers are found in cars and airplanes. Computer hardware and software. Computers are, however, just machines with electronic components, also called the hardware, CPU, memory, storage, disk, etc., etc. To make a computer carry out some functions, it has to be given a set of instructions, also called the software. The software is the brain of the computer. The computer program provides step-by-step instructions which the computer can execute to carry out a function or set of functions. So here's the printer. It puts text and images from the computer onto paper. The monitor displays information on a screen. The case controls the brains of your computer that processes information, including the central processing unit, CPU, and other parts. If you're on a laptop, the case is much smaller and it's built into the back of your laptop and under your keyboard. And your keyboard is a device for typing letters, numbers, and symbols into the computer. The mouse is a handheld device for moving a cursor around the screen. Now, if you're on a laptop again, the keyboard might extend a little closer towards you, and the mouse might be built into the middle. That's the laptop stuff. A modem/router. It sends a network signal to the computer. It's used to connect to many computers to the network or the internet. Computer programming. A computer is a machine that can process a set of simple instructions very quickly. The set of instructions it processes is known as a program. The instructions are known as the code. So here you can see a big picture of a laptop and some code there. And I think it's in an IDE like VS Code or something. People who write computer programs are known as programmers or coders. So, in this Python playlist, if you're not on the playlist, you can just go back to my channel homepage, go to playlists, click the Python playlist, and then you'll see the playlist. In this playlist, you will become a programmer or coder. Programming languages. Program instructions can be presented to the computer in language it can understand, which is low-level machine code, which is basically ones and zeros, ones and zeros, ones and zeros repeatedly. Instructions in more human-readable form use high-level programming languages. The modern high-level programs are translated into machine code that the computer can read by a compiler or an interpreter. So if you're thinking of that question, great, I just answered it. But you might be wondering the difference between a compiler and an interpreter. Well, with a compiler, it turns the high-level programming languages codes into ones and zeros, and then again you have to compile the ones and zeros so the computer can execute the program. But an interpreter, like Python has, When you just run the code, it runs. No need to run it again when it turns into ones and zeros. So, examples of high-level programming languages: C++, C, C#, Java, Python, JavaScript, Ruby, blah blah blah, etc. History of Python. Python was developed by Guido van Rossum in the late 1980s and early 1990s at the National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in the Netherlands. Okay, thank you, Guido van Rossum, for this awesome language. Just Python symbol here. Python overview. Python is a high-level, interactive, and object-oriented scripting language. Python is designed to be highly readable. Python is interpreted. I already talked about this before. Python is processed at runtime by the interpreter. You do not need to compile your program before executing it. So basically what I said, Python is interactive. You can actually add a Python prompt and interact with the interpreter directly to write your programs. That is actually true with most programming languages. So then, Python is object-oriented. Python supports object-oriented style or technique of programming that encapsulates code within objects. And Python is beginner's language. All you beginners out there, Python is a great language for the beginner level programmers and supports the development of a wide range of applications from simple text processing games. So in the games, hopefully I'll get there later in this playlist, but if you're not in the playlist, go back to my channel homepage, go to playlists, and click the Python playlist. And while you're at it, subscribe to my channel. It will be very helpful. Thank you. Python features. Easy to learn. Python has few keywords, simple structure, and clearly defined syntax. Easy to read. Python code is more clearly defined and visible to the eyes. Easy to maintain. Python source code is fairly easy to maintain, mostly because people put that in zip files, but you can put any programming language's source code in zip files. It doesn't have to be Python. Broad standard library. Python's bulk of the library is very portable and cross-platform compatible on Unix, Windows, and Macintosh. I actually made this before my installation video, so let's just get rid of that Unix, because that's the Mac download. So, interactive mode. Python has support for an interactive mode which allows interactive testing and debugging of snippets of code. Portable. Python can run on a wide variety of hardware platforms and has the same interface on all platforms. Well, not all platforms, because Mac, Windows, in Mac there are buttons to close, minimize, and restore your windows. So those are circle buttons on Mac, and on Windows there's just these square buttons. So, databases. Python provides interfaces to all major commercial databases. GUI programming. Python supports GUI applications that can be created and ported to many operating systems. If you guys are wondering what GUIs are graphical user interfaces. So, you know when you're playing a game and then you see this button on the side that says like, buy this, and you click on it? That's a graphical user interface. Scalable. Python provides better structure and support for large programming than shell scripting. So, that's my last slide of this one. Now, we're actually going to get into the programming. So, fire up your IDLE. On Windows, just do what I do. But if you don't see the IDLE come up, then you might have to delete your old Python and reinstall Python and check the box for IDLE. On Mac, you'll have to locate the file. So, if you can't do this on Windows, open my file location. Okay, it's in Python. It's in Start Menu Programs, Python 3.8. The Start menu is in Windows. Windows is in Microsoft. Microsoft is in Roaming, and Roaming is in App Data. Okay, so that's where you can find your IDLE. So, just fire up your IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. Lots of times you'll see regular people just saying it's Integrated Development Environment, but if you ask a YouTuber will definitely say IDLE stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. So, Introduction to Programming in Python. Python download. Launch a web browser, blah blah blah, we already did this. Blah blah blah, we can skip. Okay, that's your Python setup. Let me just show you it. So fire up your Python, 64-bit or 32-bit, depends on your operating system. Don't open the manuals or the module docs, just open Python 3.8. Okay, so you've opened Python 3.8. Now, start it up. Now, click on here, click Properties, and then go to Colors. Now, the screen background, set it to white, and set the screen text to black. And for the pop-up text, you can do it purple or this shade of blue, or this shade of purple, or this red, or this green, or this blue, or this, I don't know what this color is, this green, yeah, choose any one of those ones that I said, and the background, make sure it's white. I'm gonna change my pop-up text to, this. Okay, perfect. Now when you close this, Python, you'll get this. So you did this. So you fired up your IDLE, explore IDLE. So this is going to be your first program. Everyone starts with it. Just follow along with me. Hello world. Bam. Oh, whoops, bam. There you go. You got your first program. All you have to do is run it. But in most programming languages, you have to do this. So that's fine for your first program. Then you run it. Hello world. Bang. Your first program. Okay, now I'm just going to skip a line. And 12 plus 31, 43. It works if you remove the spaces too, but I think it's just more clear with spaces. See? Okay, now we'll try the 12 divided by 0, and as you can see, an error. Division by 0. You can't divide by 0. But if you do 12 divided by 4, it's fine. 12 divided by 6, it's fine. 12 divided by 1. It's fine. 12 divided by a million. It's just trying to represent a super small number. If you don't know the weird e's in numbers, then I suggest you don't do this. Just don't do this. But if you flip it around, 10, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000 million divided by 12, bam, you get this long decimal. That's the answer. Do not use Python as a calculator for your math homework or something. That's just cheating. Okay, there you go. You have another math problem example. So what you can do here is, just show you guys, print. So that's the print statement. Then you can do this. Put this here, or you can put this here, your choice. I prefer this because it's shorter, but sometimes I prefer this because when you're coding in different languages, this will be needed instead of this. I don't know why, but it's just that. So I'll do this. Now I'll write addition result. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. But now you do that. And now x plus y. And wait, just messed up on something. Okay, sorry guys, I had to define something. X equals, oh come on, Python's not letting me do that. We'll just copy this line. Thank you, copy shortcut. Okay, great, we got that. We'll set x to 25 and y to 5. Oops. I think you should get into the habit of putting spaces there. It's just better when you're coding in other languages. Okay, so print addition result, x plus y. Get a syntax error. I'll show you why. You're changing from a type string to a type a variable. We'll talk about that later in this playlist, but if you're not on the playlist, just go to my channel homepage. Go to playlists. Just click the subscribe button somewhere. It should be there. And then click on my Python playlist. So back to here. You have to put a comma to separate two different things. So when you do that, it works. Now, if we just do this little fun thing, A plus B. You guys think it will work? Pause the video and write what will happen in the comments. And if you get it wrong, don't worry, you're just learning code. So, what happens? Haha. A is not defined. It only said A is not defined because it isn't available to identify A. So it just stops there and gives this error thingy. But when you do this, x plus b, I'm too lazy to define another variable, it stops at b because it's able to identify the x. Okay, so you can do the same thing. This one is subtraction. you can use the subtraction sign. In multiplication, you have to use a star. And in division, you have to use a slash. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Just bring up my shell back here. Now, you can make a file like this. It says Untitled because you didn't name the file and stuff yet. Okay. So you can make little programs in the file. I'll just do, oh yeah, and if you guys want to see the programs, oh dang, I'll just minimize this. So print math calculation program, blah 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 blah, blah blah. You just add a colon there. It's basically the same thing, except you add a colon. So we'll just close our interactive mode and leave the file mode open, and then you can save as. So first, what I want you guys to do is go to whatever file app you have and create a new file called Python code or my Python code, whatever name you want to give it, just to store your code. So I've already created the file, save as, in documents, my Python code, file name, I'm just gonna make exp Python. You can name it whatever you want. Okay, now it's saved as a program. Blah blah blah. Calculation program. And then you run it using that button because see, I'm making all these lines, but it's not running. That's because in file mode there's a run button. And it says restart here and opens the interactive mode because that's where you'll get your results. And star here just means it's not saved. So let's create the first program in interactive mode. So print. Make print, and I'm going to say the first 6 letters on my keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, QWERTY keyboard. I'm just going to change that to that. Print QWERTY, close this, do this, and then when you run it, a module, you have to save it before. So you can either save it from here using the save, but if you want to be sure, you can save as and overwrite the previous file. The way I normally do it is click run module and say okay to save. Okay, it's saved. QWERTY, and it opened that in the interactive mode. I can prove it to you guys. Bam, interactive mode. So that was all for this video. Drop a like, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't. If you haven't, only do that. But if you have, don't do that, okay? Only do it if you have not do it. So yeah, hope you liked this video. Just drop a like, subscribe, ring the notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye.